2025 ruined me. Anybody who's been watching my channel for the past year knows that 2025 ruined me. 2025 was the worst year of my life, but also the best year of my life. Make that make sense. So I wanted to make a video telling you guys you should never give up in life because you don't know what direction life is going to take you. 2025 was a tough year for me. If you've been following my channel, you know what's up. I lost my McLaren 570S. I crashed it. $200,000 car. I lost my job, my career that I've been working on for the past 5 years, which was also a decent 6-figure salary. I've lost so much. Friends, connections, the list goes on and on. And you would think that that would ruin my year, but I also had some good things happen, right? In 2025. My girlfriend and I have a newborn, which gives me a slightly different perspective on life, makes me want to go even harder. And I think that overall, even the bad stuff that happened in the year works to motivate me towards my goals. I always say that diamonds are not made outside of struggle, right? Diamonds are made under pressure. And life is about the journey. Life is about the journey. So even though a lot of bad things happened to me in 2025, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what direction my life is going to go in. Life is all about the ups and downs, the peaks and the valleys. And I really do think that with every setback opens the door for a new opportunity, right? And sure, I got let go from my job, but maybe that gives me the opportunity to start a business or to do something different, something that will bring more success to my life, more happiness, more fulfillment. Because having a job, having a 9 to 5, it does bring stability, but does it bring true happiness? It does bring financial stability, it's a reliable source of income, right? You're not worried about getting your next check until you lose that job. But maybe I'll come up with some idea that will make me more money. I have more free time. I have time to spend with my family, time to do things that I'm passionate about, time to reflect, to gather myself together, to really figure out who I am and what I want to do. So I'm happy for that. My entire life has not been easy. A lot of people, they sat back, they saw the young guy with the McLaren, the girlfriend, the nice clothing, and they think, oh, this guy had an easy life. My life has been full of struggles. And one thing, like I said, I've learned is that you can only get diamonds from pressure. If you want to go through the easy path, then you don't expect those high peaks. I really do think that 2026 for me is going to be the year. It's the breakout year, the reset. Every single time in my life I've hit one of these plateaus, one of these setbacks, I've always come back stronger. I've got to the next level. And I think that the next level for me is going to be millionaire status this year, chat. I'm going to fucking push. I'm going to push for it. I'm going to lock in. And I really think that you can lock in too. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of the times people think they get mired in their situation, right? And they think that their situation can't improve, it can't change. But the truth is that if you go back 10 years in my life, it was horrible. It was really, really dark. And imagine if I had given up and said, oh, there's no ups on the horizon. I don't see any mountains, not even hills on the horizon. So let me just give up right now. Then I would have never reached the peaks I reached during the last 5 years, driving supercars, having multi-million-dollar friends, learning from people that are genuinely successful in this world, working at a great company while I was there, learning from people at the company, and just becoming a better human being. That's why I can't give up. You can't give up. Just because times get dark, you can't say, oh man, Things aren't going in my direction, so let me just give up now. Let me just lose hope. There's always the opportunity in front of you. You just got to take it. You just got to take it. A lot of people don't take the opportunity. Even me making these videos, creating content for you guys, a lot of people will sit in their house and sulk. They'll say, oh, there's nothing for me to do. Pick up a camera. Who knows? Maybe you might be the next big thing. But if you don't take the risk, if you don't lock in, if you just give up and you think that, oh, bro, it's not getting handed to me, so life is just not in my favor. Everybody's against me. And you live in that victim mindset, then you're not going to make it. It's going to stop you. I meet so many people every single day that seem like they can't see past the horizon. And the truth is, let's say that worst case scenario, I never reach those peaks again, which I refuse to believe that. But let's just say, for the benefit of the doubt, for the sake of the argument, I never reach those peaks again. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the journey. Push yourself to the limit. Live with no regrets. Nobody can come back and say, yo, Scott, you didn't try hard enough. Because I know damn well that I'm going to push myself to the limit. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to hyper focus on my goals until I get there. So that I can look back and be like, oh man, I can't believe I was sad because I lost a little McLaren 570S. I can't believe I was sad because I lost a little job making a light 6 figures. I can't be sad because I lost some fake friends. I can't be sad because of this or that. No way. When I'm sitting in the Bugatti, when I'm in that yacht in 2026, 2027, I want to be able to look back and say, man, I can't believe I was sad. And let's say I don't. Let's say I never get to those levels either. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The journey is what matters. I had a conversation with some people on my stream. They were saying, Scott, you're materialistic. And I was trying to explain to them that it's not about getting the stuff. Maybe me talking to you and the words I use gives that impression, but it's not. It's about the journey to getting the stuff. It's about the journey to get that first Porsche. It's about the journey to get that first McLaren. It's about the journey to get to that next level. It's about the experience. At the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters. Referring to the material stuff. At the end of the day, this watch is just a bunch of rocks that somebody mined from the ground. They melded it and they put it together into this item. It doesn't mean anything. It's about the journey getting there. And I think that a lot of people sell themselves short. And they take honor and pride in being quote unquote humble. Oh, I'm not trying to get material wealth. I'm humble. It's because those people don't have the right perspective. They don't understand what life is all about. It's about experiencing the highs and the lows. It's about getting there and saying, yo, I started at point A and I made it to point Z. I got to the top echelon. I'm living in a movie. I've been a poor man and a rich man, and I pick being a rich man every single time. Quoting the Wolf of Wall Street. It's easy to sit back on your laurels when you're broke and have nothing and you have not tried to do anything in your life and say, oh, money doesn't bring happiness. You're missing the point. You're literally missing the point. A real person who's getting money like that, they're not worried about money in the same way that you're worried about money. They don't even see money in the same way that you see money. You see money as a necessity. They see money as a game. That's what you're missing. This is a game. Life is a game. I think that people see me walking around with the Rolex and they think that for me, this Rolex means something. No. This Rolex, the only thing that I see it as is a symbol of my accomplishment of meeting a goal and also as a manipulation tool for the rest of society. Because unfortunately, most of you guys are actually brainwashed and do really drink the Kool-Aid and you do think that this makes somebody important. I know this doesn't make somebody important. It's a tool to make people think that you're important. And some people will say, oh, so that means you care about what other people think. If it's going to get me ahead in life, of course I do. We live in a hierarchy. If you are one of these people who wants to, quote unquote, escape the matrix, escape the hierarchy, you're a fool. It's impossible to escape. It's impossible to escape. It's a cool catchphrase. I like to say it sometimes as a joke. You've got to escape the matrix. What color is your Bugatti? But it's a joke. Just like me, Andrew knows what he's doing. And he's using catchphrases and social manipulation techniques to get ahead in life. Because most normal people who haven't had anything and haven't accomplished anything really do admire materialism. And they really do put other people on pedestals. And it's up to you to be the person that actually gets those things and uses them as tools to get ahead. Not because you actually believe in the inherent value of something, because there is no inherent value. I've got a news flash for you. We live in a pyramid scheme. Society is a pyramid scheme. It always has been, it always will be. We live in a hierarchy. Until you realize that, until you see that this is a game, that none of it actually matters, all that matters is the experience that you have in your own individual life, nothing else. Until you realize that in order to get ahead in this game, you need to know the rules and you need to figure out what exploits exist to get ahead, you will never become somebody big. You will never become somebody great. You will never have the experiences that I've had. But alas, I'm talking to the choir, right? If you watch my channel, you probably already believe and know what I'm saying is true. And I applaud you for that. I actually applaud you for that. But for the people that are still asleep, they need to wake up. They need to wake up. 2025 kicked my ass, but I'm coming stronger and harder than ever in 2026. And I really hope that everybody who subscribed to my channel, everybody who follows me, does the same. We're coming strategic this year. We really are. Some people might ask, who is Scott Leonard? You're about to find out who Scott Leonard is. All of the haters, all the detractors, the people who don't have the foresight to see what my vision is, they're going to realize pretty quickly that I was onto something. But you can stay in the shadows and you can hate. It's fine. I enjoy that too. It's all nourishment for the soul. I just think that even though I had a rough year, I also had a pretty good learning experience. And like I said, there were good things that happened as well. This year I had a child. I'm happy that I had a child. It's very fulfilling. I don't want to play into the cliches that people say, oh, it's going to change you. You're going to feel a snap. The truth is, and at least for me, I didn't feel a snap, but it does, cement some of the ideas, some of the ideology that I already had about life and how life is supposed to work. And it also just feels good to know that you're adding something back to the grand scheme of things. You're continuing your bloodline. You're going to have some sort of impact on society. Even if your actions, all of your other actions, the sum of those actions doesn't add up to anything that echoes through time, your offspring will, right? You've continued your bloodline. And it might not seem significant to you, but I assure you that the caveman 200,000 years ago, he didn't think that he'd have descendants that would be living now, adding value to society. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to add even more to society, right? To create even more of an impact. And the only way you do that is by producing, right? by striving to be bigger, better, stronger, smarter. A lot of people that haters, haters are going to say, oh, you're nobody. You're wasting your time. Blah, 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 blah. But I truly think that it just comes from a myopic perspective on life, because the truth is I am creating an impact. I am. I'm creating an impact bigger than any other person in my entire bloodline has ever created. The fact that hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people have seen my content, have heard my voice, have heard the ideology, my ideas, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. You might not think it's a big thing, or you might just want to hate to try and drag someone down, but it's a big thing. I assure you that I've done more in my life than any of your ancestors have done. So instead of hating, I would challenge you to go out and do the same, right? Try to make an impact in this world. If you have some ideas, if you have some thoughts that you think can change even one person for the better, spread them. Spread them. But then again, who am I? I'm just a little old Scott Leonard. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and try to catch one of my streams. I'm out.